So we live in a digital world now, and companies are trying to get into this, well, smart home business stuff. And Logitech, being the company they are no exception. Today we're going to be doing one of our first reviews, and yeah, I know, it's been saying reviews in our title for ages, and well, we haven't really done a review. But that's going to change today, because we're going to be talking about the Harmony Companion. It includes two pieces of hardware, the Harmony Hub, which we'll take a look at in a moment, and this remote right here. So on closer inspection of this remote, it might just look like, well, a normal remote. I mean, you've got your buttons down on the bottom, or your numbers, I should say. Some playback controls, your up and down, and then this section up here, which is a little bit different. So, of course, you've got your standard red, green, yellow, and blue buttons for different options. You see these buttons up here? They look a little weird. These are all action buttons up here, and we're going to talk about those in just a second. So our action buttons, I said we would talk about these here in just a second, and they're actually pretty cool. So the orange buttons that you saw on the remote, those buttons are actually used for controlling things like Wemos and the hue lights from Philips, which, by the way, I would totally love to get my hands on some. Philips, if you're watching, we'd love to have some to play around with. And then the three buttons up at the top of the remote. Now, you see a little musical note, a TV, and you also see a little picture with kind of a movie clip on it. Now, these are your real action buttons, is what they're called here on the Harmony remote. And they're really cool because you can set up things like macros on them to actually cause certain actions to happen when you hit the button. For instance, if I hit the music button, I can tell my entire home theater system to just play music. Or if I hit the TV button, my set-top box and all my equipment will turn on. Everything will be pointed to the right devices so that when I change the channels on the remote, it knows to change them on the set-top box. And it also knows to change the volume on my stereo receiver and not the TV itself. And the same thing with the movie button. So we've got the TV off right now, which normally would have our TechBeam logo behind us, in order to show you some of the functions of this really cool remote. So on the remote, like I said, I have this button right here for doing things like watching movies. So I'm going to hit this one button right here, and we're going to watch the TV. So I hit one button, you're going to hear my stereo receiver kick on, the TV is turning on, and my Samsung Blu-ray DVD player is turning on as well. This is a really cool remote, and this is all being done using things called macros. So this is the Harmony Hub right here. This is the heart of the entire system, and it's what communicates with the remote. So everything that we do with the Harmony system, like I said, is powered right here by the Harmony Hub. So all the macros that I have set up for my remote are right here, and this is what actually interacts with all of my devices. Now, it does that in a pretty cool way, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Now, on the back of the Harmony Hub, you can see we have a little port for micro USB, which of course is for power, and these two odd-looking little jacks right here. So those two odd little jacks right there are actually for an infrared sensor, and you can have two of them on one hub, which is actually pretty cool. So how that works, and it interacts with the remote, which, by the way, is not a normal remote. Now, a normal remote uses infrared signals, just like the Harmony Hub does with the little infrared blasters, but our remote for this system is actually an RF remote. So what does that mean? Well, it's pretty cool because it means that I can be in any room of the house, for the most part, and still control my system. The other cool thing about that is that if I wanted to put all of my equipment into, say, a cabinet or something like that, I could do that using the Harmony Hub, and I would never have to open that cabinet. Because the reason is infrared works through line of sight, whereas RF is able to actually go through things like walls and through doors, which is pretty awesome. And as long as the RF signals can reach the Harmony Hub, the mini infrared sensors will actually send the signal out to my devices. So this is the Harmony Hub app right here, which is actually pretty cool. So we have controls for numbers over here. I've got controls for play pause and volume and stuff like that. And then I can also move around up and down and a bunch of other buttons here on the app as well. And these all pertain to the watch a movie event that I've got set up on here, which if we come over on this side, you can actually see the different activities that I have set up. And these are all related to buttons on the remote as well. So if I wanted to watch TV, all I'd have to do is tap the watch TV button, and it's actually going to switch everything over to the TV for us, which is pretty awesome. Now, editing all this stuff is actually pretty easy as well. You just hit the edit activity, you pick the one that you want, and it's going to load you into a cool little interface right here. You basically walk through the steps in the wizard, and you tell it what devices you want it to use, how you want it to set those up, what inputs you want it to use, and it's really, really easy to set up. And then it has you test it afterwards to make sure that everything is set up correctly. So all in all, the Harmony Companion is actually pretty cool, at least in my opinion. Now, this is a product that I've been using for over a year now, and I absolutely love it. Again, it eliminates the need for having like 3 different remotes to be able to control like the TV and the stereo receiver and the DVD player and the set-top box, and yeah, it just combines it all into one remote. In fact, I've been using this remote so long that I don't even know if I know where the buttons are for the regular set-top box remote or any other remotes for that matter. And of course, if I'm being especially lazy one day, or I happen to leave the remote sitting at my desk and I don't want to get up, as long as I've got my phone in my pocket, fire up the Harmony Hub app and be able to control everything. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, if you have questions, you know what to do. Leave them down in the comments section below. If you like this video, leave it a big thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment below letting us know what we can do differently next time. All right, that's going to do it for this video. My name's Ben Carlos. We'll see you next time here on TechBeam.